Hello, MCU fans! Today we're going to take a look at some Deadpool and Wolverine updates, including potentially some secrets revealed about the TVA that's going to appear in the movie. Now don't worry, I'm not going into any leaks or rumors or spoilers. I'm going to stick only with official outlets that Marvel has given information to, including Empire, Entertainment Weekly, and a recent IMAX trailer. So, without further ado, let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Now, don't forget, we do have a May contest running all month long. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, and you could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. Also, we have a membership option if you want to help me with my goal of doing this full-time one day. But honestly, no matter how you support the channel, it's all greatly appreciated. Leaving comments, liking videos, and subscribing, those things go a long way too. So thank you so much. All right, so one interesting thing to point out up front is Wolverine's costume progression helps us place scenes in the order they appear in the movie. Because if you notice, Wolverine starts out with his nice, pristine yellow costume. Then it gets a little dirtier and has multiple bullet holes. And then finally on the right, it's really dirty, has the bullet holes, and has no sleeves. So depending on what he's wearing, we're able to at least get some idea of where things fit relatively in the movie itself. So first, let's start by looking at a couple of officially released images from the movie from Entertainment Weekly and Empire. So this one is Deadpool, probably right after he's brought Wolverine to the TVA. And interestingly, notice Wolverine does not have any bullet holes, and of course he does have his sleeves. So this is before they did a lot of fighting, clearly. Then when they go in the Void, still no bullet holes, and he has his sleeves. So you're going to see in a minute that kind of places some other scenes in the Void that I didn't realize were in the Void. So then here's another scene of them together, Wolverine looking pretty pristine. Not so much for Deadpool. He's looking a little dirty there. Not sure what happened there. Okay, this is one that's really interesting to me. I love this pose. Man, Hugh Jackman is so awesome as Wolverine. Dude's in his 50s and still looks incredible. But notice, he's got the bullet holes. I had assumed we were not yet in the Void because I guess the trees just look really green and we're so used to the Void being nasty looking in Loki. But I think the way they're presenting this, the Void is very big. It's like a planet. And so, yeah, there's some places where it's, there's no leaves, and here obviously there are. But I do think this is happening in the Void. Very interesting. Now, I think this is prior to Deadpool getting pruned in the Void. Another nice shot of him fighting the TVA. And then we get a nice shot of Dogpool. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's just epic. And then I didn't know this. Maybe a lot of people did, but I did not know that in real life, Dogpool's name is Peggy. Hi, Peggy. And Peggy recently won England's Ugliest Dog contest. Oh my gosh. Yes, Peggy, you are ugly, but we love you. You're a sweetheart. So yeah, cannot wait to see Dogpool in the movie. Okay, so this scene, I guess, was released officially by Marvel. And notice the bullet holes are there, but still the sleeves. So this is after they got in the Void, which you can tell by that metal ball. We know that's in the Void. But so clearly a fight happens where he gets the bullet holes, and then another fight where he ends up losing his sleeves. Then, okay, this one is really interesting. This is an image from the IMAX trailer that came out recently. And what people have, well, number one, notice the bullet holes. So they're in the Void. Wherever this is a diner that's been pruned and placed in the Void. And you can see out the window there that trench. That's really interesting. Probably just a road, but who knows? That's kind of interesting. But so a lot of people picked up on the wording on the window, which of course is in reverse. But if you flip it around, Joe's famous chili bowl, Joe's easy omelet. Naturally, longtime Marvel fans who've watched all the movies have said, oh, that's got to be Joe's Pizzeria from Spider-Man 2. Pizza time, right? But the thing is, it doesn't look anything like the pizzeria, with the big glass window, etc. So much as that would be cool if this was a Spider-Man 2 reference, I don't think it is. But it's definitely in the Void. They're definitely in a diner, having a drink and hashing it out, clearly. So very cool. Okay, so now let's talk about Empire magazine, which had a really good write-up on the movie. In particular, we learn that Paradox is running the TVA. Now, granted, this information is coming from Matthew McFadden, who, could be lying or could be summarizing it incorrectly. I get all that. But I have long time theorized that the TVA in Deadpool and Wolverine is different than the one in Loki. I think part of it is because Feige doesn't want you to have to quote-unquote do homework. I really hate that phrase. But nonetheless, a lot of people are using that and view watching everything in the MCU as homework. Well, if it's the same TVA, then you kind of had to watch Loki. But if it's a different TVA, then, everybody's on the same page. And I think if Paradox is telling the truth here and he's running the TVA, Well, it's got to be a different TVA then, right? And then if you throw in this interesting tweet from Bo DiMaio. So Bo is one of the showrunners on X-Men 97. Of course, he was let go recently. But even if you don't watch X-Men 97, you're going to find this really interesting. So somebody said, hey, I noticed there was a reference to fixed points, basically an absolute point in time, in X-Men 97. Does that mean they're subject to the same rules as Doctor Strange in What If? Well, Bo had this fascinating answer. He says, at this point, we're merely using common language and are not necessarily connected on the same tree. Huh. Interesting, right? Marvel and I wanted a word concept that audiences were already familiar with, instead of making up our own. Then he goes on to say, I think it's very much dealer's choice on some levels, but I know that my discussions were to view it as its own neighboring tree, not a branch on the multiverse MCU tree. Sure, a few leaves from one tree can mingle with others at some point. Wow. So, Bo DiMaio at least was told when he did X-Men 97 that he needed to treat Loki's tree as the MCU multiverse, but not where X-Men 97 was located. Well, I would throw out the same thing then. Wouldn't that mean that Deadpool and Wolverine is on a separate tree? Each of these are kind of a tree, right? The core universe, like the MCU and all of its branches. The core Deadpool and Wolverine, X-Men and all of its branches, etc. So, wow, I really do think that this is confirmation that there could be two separate TVAs then, a TVA for each tree. It goes with my multiversal timeline that I've been talking about for a while, where basically in the middle, you have Loki Season 1, What If, then the Loom falling apart, Loki Season 2, his tree, and then the Void. And that's where we're picking up here. And notice all the different universes with the other trees are interfacing with the MCU on the top, and then on the bottom is the main MCU. So anyway, I just think if you take Bo DiMaio's tweet and then Paradox running his version of the TVA, that's what I think, then I just think this all builds together so well. Then you throw in this quote. This is fascinating. So Paradox shows Wade what Feige calls the most glorious place in the world, aka the sacred timeline, the one true timeline in the multiverse. So see, when they were referring to sacred timeline, that is the MCU's timeline, which also just happens to be the home of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Deadpool is very intrigued by that, says Feige. Paradox makes Deadpool an offer. He learns soon thereafter that it's not quite as simple an offer as he thought it was, adds Feige, and the stakes are universe-sized. So, Paradox is showing Wade, quote-unquote, the sacred timeline, the Marvel Universe, the most glorious place in the world. That's what we're seeing here. When Paradox is saying, hey, check this out. Look, it's the MCU. This is what you love, right? This is the perfect timeline. It's the perfect universe. And of course, Wade's saluting Captain America. Now, I've had people say, and this is a fair question, how could Paradox, if he's a separate TVA, be viewing the MCU? Well, remember, Loki made a tree. He destroyed the Loom and created the multiversal tree. That would leave it exposed for everywhere else in the multiverse to be able to see it. It'd be like the North Star shining in the sky. Everyone can see it. So I think that is what Paradox is teasing Wade with. So what does Paradox want Wade to do? I think he wants him to fix the X-Men timeline. If you look at the monitor right behind Paradox, as well as the one over on the far right, and I'll zoom in on that one, I think that's the Fox timeline, right? It's a hot mess. And that's because there was so much time travel and so many inconsistencies. But, you had Days of Future Past time travel, you had Cable time travel. Of course, Wade himself, Deadpool, did a ton of time travel. So that's what I think is going on here, is that basically Wade is being hired to clean up the Fox timeline. Very interesting. All right, so then also, this final thing is very interesting too. So the middle of the first paragraph there, Reynolds admits to nerves in crafting Logan's story. I found a way that I didn't disturb any of the legacy of Logan and Wolverine in general. Feige says that there will be Logan references in Deadpool and Wolverine, but very reverential ones, while any concerns Jackman had were quickly squashed or quashed. Basically, as Jackman was worried about ruining the legacy of Logan. So keep in mind, there will be references, but, they'll be done in a reverential way. Well, that's why I think this scene is from Logan. I really, really think that's the overturned truck. I think when they go to visit that, that's what triggers Deadpool, because he realizes the TVA wants him to prune this timeline. And that's what drives Logan nuts. Drives Deadpool nuts. There's no way He's going to allow this timeline to be destroyed because this is where Logan died. He wants to leave it alone, and this is what then ends up with Logan being pruned ultimately and sent to the void. So I think this really all fits together. The Empire article didn't tell us much, but it told us enough to keep this consistent narration going forward. So let me know what you think, right? And now we got to wait until Deadpool and Wolverine to rock our collective world. I cannot wait for this movie to come out. And honestly, if I'm wrong in these theories, I'm okay. I don't care. I just want to enjoy the movie. I'm trying my best, though, to put it all together and share these ideas. Love to know what you think about the articles, about the new images, etc. Leave your thoughts, please, please. I do want to know, and I will respond to all of them. Also, don't forget that May contest. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, win a book or a steelbook, and that membership option if you're interested in that. Lastly, I always like to mention the Discord. So much going on. We have X Monday rewatches, lots of fun, even more watch parties here with The Gifted, etc. MMORPG, that's a blast. Oh my gosh, is that the wall? I never noticed that. Upper right-hand corner, they stuck the wall on there. They just hand me these to mention them, and that's really funny. Everybody loves the wall. All right, anyway, Star Wars retrospectives, very cool. Thumbnail contest, we all know my thumbnails ain't that great, so you can help design a thumbnail. And lastly, we talk mostly about Star Wars, DC, and Marvel, but honestly, in the other media forum, talk about anything you want. There are some crazy topics on here. I will leave a pinned comment so that you can join the Discord. 1,300 members across the globe, conversations 24/7. We would love you to join in. Also, if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we'll all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, ever-changing Marvel Cinematic Universe.